Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? It is Stupid Player Negative AE, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Last we left off, we had been talking to um, Shion about how there's two people that got killed this year, so two people probably get demoned away, and it would only make sense if we were the ones being demoned away. And it's right about this time in the last game that Rena was standing outside my door, just kind of like listening in. We don't really know about Rena being a demon in this one, do we? She hasn't kind of made that distinction yet, so I don't know if she'll be outside my door, but who knows? First, an event occur once every year in the town. We're beginning with a horror music hit. The story Takano-san told me the day before during the setup. Now that the curse had really occurred this year, I couldn't just laugh it off.
じゃあ、俺たちも毎年一人死ぬと一人が消えるように、富武さんや高野さんの道連れに消えさせられるっていうのかよ。
My lips had, at some point, become completely dry, and just saying that was difficult. Shion didn't respond. Her silence, however, was the clearest form of confirmation she could give me.
俺たち、そりゃ確かに入っちゃいけないところだったかもしれない。見ただけだぜ。何かを盗んだり、持ち出したり、見たことを誰かに喋ったわけじゃないんだぜ。
I was already regretting having committed such a wrong. Even so, was it really so bad that Tomitaki-san and Takano-san deserve such cruel deaths?
第一、俺はあんなの見ても全然面白くなかったし、高野さんが見て一人で大喜びしてただけだろ。悪いのは高野さんだけだよ。俺は全然関係ないぜ。興味もないし関係ないし、あの中にあったものだって知ったことじゃない。
Knew saying so wouldn't solve anything. I could feel myself, my cold self, in the innermost depths of my heart, disgusted at my pointless howling. However, my emotions had broken through the dam and I couldn't stop them anymore.
俺はもともと興味なんか全然なかったんだ。リカちゃんの演舞を見ていたかっただけなんだ。それをシオンが勝手に連れ出したんじゃないか。あの二人が泥棒しようが何しようが知ったことじゃない。そうだよ。そもそもシオンが中に入ろうって言い出したんだ。
What? Okay, now this is stupid.
ケイちゃんは見ておく必要があるとかなんとか思わせぶりなことを言って中に引き込んだんだ。
This man is destroying his only friendship that he
どう
has.
してくれるんだよ。
This man does not.
俺は全然関係ないんだぞ。
This is the rudest thing you could
ど
do.
うすんだよ。どうすんだよ。どうやって責任を取ってくれるんだよ。
How are you? Oh my goodness.
おい、聞いて。
Yeah, because you're a piece of crap. Now I don't like you. Now I'm mad at you. Freaking Shion was nothing but an angel the entire time. And this man is like, how are you gonna get out of here? Freaking Keiichi. My riled up emotions disappeared as if they'd never existed, and in their place surged waves of deep regret having run my mouth so irresponsibly. That's what I'm saying, dude. I could try to call out Shion's name from beyond the disconnected phone, but it was too late. What have I done? Yeah, exactly. What have you done? As for me, I could only whine about... Yeah, thank you. At least he's like... See, like, with main characters in other stories, freaking, at least they would be like... Or they wouldn't do this. They would be like, oh, I was perfectly in the right. But freaking, at least Keiichi's like, oh, man, I was a little child about this. Yeah, you were. I went to call her back, but then remembered she lived in Okinomiya. I didn't know her phone number. Since I had declared to Mion that I hadn't seen Shion last night, I couldn't just call Mion and ask her for Shion's phone number. I was too scared. I couldn't even call her back. I was stricken with hopeless regret. I returned the receiver to its stand, and I simply prayed that Shion would call me back again. Please, Shion. Calm down. Call me again. That's not her.
もしもし、前原です。
That's not her. I swept up the receiver as though it wouldn't go through if I didn't grab it at that exact moment.
前原さんのお宅でしょうか。夜分遅くに失礼いたします。君吉と申します。ご主人様でいらっしゃいますか？
Kimiyoshi. That's a middle-aged man? All my hopes rushed out of me.
違いますけど、親父に用なら呼んできます。
I went to put the receiver back down, but the caller stopped me hurriedly.
あ、いえいえ、お忙しければ結構なんです。
That is not a middle-aged man.
実は恐縮なんですが、うちのおじいちゃんがお邪魔してませんでしょうか？
いえ、誰も来てませんけど。
そうですか。夜分遅くに申し訳ありませんでした。
That sounds like a child.
失礼いたします。
I don't know who that was, but what if Shion tried to call while I was talking to him? I thought bubbling with egotistic anger. Hey, wait, give it a break, Keiichi Maebara. These are selfless emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? If anything, she's gonna go like kill herself. Like, that's how I see this going down. And all because you were a jerk. Given up hope in the short time since we had our conversation and didn't want to call anymore. Now she has no friends. You yelled at her. If Shion does call again, then first apologize in a calm voice. If you do that, then Shion should understand. However, no matter how long I waited, the phone did not ring again that night. We're gonna get some tips, aren't we? Yes, we are. Yes, we are gonna get some tips. Wow, 3 of them. Alright, here we go. Freaking middle-aged man, my ass. I was far from that. Alright, here we go. Late night phone call I'm most interested in, but let's check out the scrapbook. This is Takano-san's scrapbook, right? So, interesting. The significance of the Watanagashi. Watanagashi, a festival of hunting for sacrifices and feasting on them. While the festival itself is remarkable, it has come to be considered a form of entertainment as well. Perhaps it was because of the disparity between being both an egregious act and a form of entertainment that perpetrators began to believe themselves transcendent. However, I found some very interesting literature that appears to raise questions about that explanation. As with most oral traditions, it's not easily swallowed, but it does mention a few things that spark my interest. According to this literature, even the residents of Onagafuchi village felt fear towards this ritual. Women and children would grow pale and tremble, and those of weak constitution would vomit. But it said that the feast, or the dissection, was an obligatory viewing. This is an extremely curious tale. Until now, I had thought the residents of Onagafuchi village were fascinated by the Watanagashi ritual. They looked down on those vulgar, barbaric humans, cut them open like fish, and by eating them, they reaffirmed their own holiness. At least, that's what I thought. However, if what the villagers gained from this ritual was not fascination but fear, that would suggest the ritual meant something entirely different. There's the possibility that the executions were meant as warnings, encouraging the villagers to strictly follow religious precepts created by those with the power for their own convenience. Onagafuchi village has been effectively ruled over by three families. Three old families, called the Three Families. Without investigating the three families, I probably won't get any closer to the truth of the Onagafuchi village. So, it's ruled by three families? I'm gonna take a quick. Oh, here we go. I was gonna say I'm gonna take a quick guess on who the families are. It's gonna be Sonozaki, whatever Rika's last name is, that I can't remember for some reason at this moment. I can't think of like a third family that could be in. Maybe Rena's family, but I don't know. Three families refer to the three old families who effectively came to rule Onagafuchi village. Oh no. To break it down, there was the Kimiyoshi family. The Furude family, which is Rika, and Sonozaki family, which is Mion. But Kimiyoshi called just now, and each of them still exists today. Though they don't have as much control as they did in the remote past, they still hold considerable influence today. The three families are considered by legend to be those in whom the blood of the swamp demons runs the thickest. Kimiyoshi family. Alright, let's see who these motherfuckers are. The Kimiyoshi family appears to have held great power as the head of the three families, but it doesn't have that kind of leadership today. The current mayor of the village, Yoshichiro Kimiyoshi, is from this family. The fact that the members of the Kimiyoshi family are elected as mayor every generation is thought to be a remnant of the old system. Of course, as no rival candidates appear, it doesn't change the fact that the Kimiyoshi family holds the mayoral office even through popular elections in the post-war era. Okay. Furude family, Rika's family. The center of the village's faith since ancient times, the Furude clan has guarded the sole shrine dedicated to Oyashiro-sama. They were worshipped as the only people to represent the voice of Oyashiro-sama for a long time, but the family branched off after the war and lost most of its power. Now it only consists of the main house. Main house, as well, presently consists of only one daughter, Rika Furude, so the lineage may end this generation. This is apparently an old tradition of honoring females of the Furude family, so the only daughter, Rika, is the subject of much respect among the elderly of the village. Sonozaki family. It is said that this family has a certain police-like role of protecting the religious precepts of the Onagafuchi village. Of the three families, their relatively weak position can be seen from me putting them here last. Of course, today, the Sonozaki family is flourishing, and the state of affairs among the three families has completely reversed. Even now, one could say that they are in control of Hinamizawa. Three families conferring with each other is similar to the old way. The current head of the Sonozaki family, Oryu essentially decides all of the ongoings in the village by himself. Okay. So I didn't know who Kimiyoshi was until now. Unless it was mentioned before. But I think this is like the first time they're bringing up the Kimiyoshi family. Just kind of talking about that. I don't know. That.
夜分遅くに失礼いたします。君吉と申しますが、ご主人でいらっしゃいますか。
Okay, why is this now?
はい。いえいえ、その説は本当にありがとうございます。それでですね。こんな時間に大変恐縮なのですが、うちのおじいちゃんがお邪魔してないかと思いまして。ですよね。はい。 こんな時間にそれでは失礼いたします。ごめんください。
どうだい、ダメ？
参ったなあ。どんなに熱中しても電話くらいはしてくれる人なんだけれどな。
囲碁の人の家は全部電話したんでしょ？
はい、君吉です。
園崎です。どうです？村長さんは見つかりましたか？
ああ、ミオンちゃんか。片っ端から電話をかけてみたけどダメだよ。見つからないんだ。参ったなあ。どこで油を売ってるのかな。
こっちでも心当たりにいろいろと問い合わせましたけど、全然。バッチャにも相談したんですが、青年団を招集して探し回った方がいいだろうということです。
こんな時間にかい。それに別に行方不明になったと決まったわ。
綿流しの直後ですから、少し慎重に扱った方がいいとのことです。それでも見つからないなら、明朝警察に通報しましょう。見つかる見つからないは別にして、痛くない腹を探られない方がいいでしょうから。
おりょうさんがそう言ったのかい。
はい。直接声を聞かないと信用できないなら、電話先に出させますよ。
いえ、わかりました。青年団を集めて探しましょう。それで見つからなければ翌朝に警察に通報します。
青年団の連絡もよろしくお願いしますね。私もバッチャの代行ということでそちらに参ります。
ありがとう。すぐにみんなを集めます。
ええ、では。
These tips have been interesting. These tips have been interesting. Previous tips, not so interesting. These tips, super interesting. Well, I mean, there's been some previous tips that have been interesting. It's just like these tips. Like, all right, we're getting the Kimiyoshi family. There's an old man. He's like the mayor. Mion is running things for the Sonozaki family. They're one of the most powerful families. Keiichi was very mean to Shion, which I'm mad about, but we're going to get into that, I'm sure. We're going to go ahead and save it right here as well, so we don't like have it saved in a weird spot. And then continue on. And also, if the mayor's gone and that counts as the demoned away, or one of the demoned aways, then I'm a little bit confused. Because if Tanagashi just... Because Mion mentioned the Watanagashi just happened, so we need to be careful. Shouldn't she know? Very confused. I don't know. There's no way I'd be able to sleep. When she hung up the phone like that, I realized for the first time what kind of situation I was in, and as well as who the only ally who would support me was. That's what I'm freaking saying. That's what I was saying the entire time you were telling her that. I waited with bated breath for Shion to calm down and call me back. What would I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, however, it never rang. Exhausted, whenever my mind started to wander, I would jolt awake as though I heard the phone ring. In the end, I brought the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it in my arms. Though, it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came, and by that time I was pretty sure she wasn't calling back. That was when a fierce drowsiness assailed me. Damn it. This is no time for sleep, Keiichi Maebara. I slapped myself in the face a few times. Then I went to the washroom and washed my face, which is something I usually didn't do. I wasn't enough either, so I even brushed my teeth. After that, I was finally wide awake. When Mom saw how strange I was acting, her eyes went wide. What's wrong, Keiichi? Are you going somewhere today? Going somewhere? Yeah. To school. Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good today. You have a cold? I'm not sick, I just didn't get much sleep. If I space out and start talking nonsense, just humor me. Wonder what kind of nonsense you'll say, I wonder. Now I'm looking forward to it. Felt utterly shattered, and I still hadn't picked myself up this morning, and for precisely that reason, Rena's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes. Yo, what's up, Keiichi, or Kei-chan? Rena? Good morning. What? Michan, you look like you didn't get much sleep either. He hadn't gone home early yesterday with a hangover, but she didn't look too good this morning either. Her usual cheerfulness was completely buried in shadow. Yeah, went to bed at like 3. I'm a little tired. 3? And you can't keep staying up late. You probably read the first volume of a manga, thought it was interesting, then read the whole entire series, didn't you? I understand. I've done that before. I joked trying to stake off my sleepiness. I was trying to be considerate. However, neither Mion nor Rena smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Rena's expression immediately darkened. What? Wait, is it about the mayor? He still hasn't been found? No. Hey, wait a minute. What are you talking about? You can't find the mayor? Even in the classroom, which was normally bursting with bright joking voices, seemed filled with a different sort of murmur today. Good morning, Keiichi-san. Have you heard? It looks like something terrible has happened. I don't really know this person, but he's an old guy, right? Couldn't he just be wandering around senile? Mayor is certainly not senile. He's a sprightly man who can teach both calligraphy and swordsmanship. Probably got lost somewhere like me. Lost Rika. I want to take you home with me. Getting lost is only cute because children like Rika-chan can do it. Or do it. A worn-out old man getting lost isn't moe in the slightest. While my mind entertained dumb thoughts like that, our teacher arrived. Everyone rushed to their seats. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. The class greeting was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was heavy. Some of you may have already heard, but last night, despite the late hour, the mayor never came home. Is there anyone here who saw the mayor yesterday? 1 or 2 hands went up in silence, and they told her about having seen him. None of it seemed to be vital information. However, everyone began whispering amongst themselves. If anyone has seen the mayor, please tell an adult about it, alright? Now then, let's begin class. After that, the same old lessons began. The rumors, once quieted, blossomed in flowers again at lunchtime. I could hear a few different conversations. They were mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them all up, I came out with this. Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the Shrine's Assembly Hall. The meeting ended after the sun had fully set and everyone left. The elder's house was a bit far from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights outside. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. However, because he would have been hungry, he wouldn't have taken any side trips, he would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Some thought there might have been an accident. They left no stone unturned. They searched from the irrigation channels to the water wells, and even in the rice paddies, but they didn't find him. Of course, there was a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. The police were going to wait for daylight and then have the young men of the town help search. If after all that they still didn't find him, they were apparently even going to go looking in the mountains. Even now, at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. The more they searched in vain, the more time passed. The only thing that came to my mind was curse. The rumors of the Onakakushi, of the demoning away. Okay, if he be, if had he become this year's sacrifice to Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year, scary possibility, which everybody thought about but nobody could say out aloud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. Was he demoned away, offered as a sacrifice to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger? My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year, so there shouldn't have been any sacrifices. I, on the other hand, I knew. The curse did happen again this year, and there were 2 people that died. This may sound strange, but I hadn't exactly thought the elder would be the one to go missing. My reason was clear. Shion and I should have been a higher priority than him. The 4 of us were the thieves that broke into the taboo and set foot into the sacred ritual storehouse. If Tomitaki-san and Takano-san had suffered mysterious deaths, then it should have been mine and Shion's turn next. This time should have been Shion and me. Laughed painfully to myself. I yelled at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up in such a terrifying position or situation, but now that someone other than me disappeared, I could only think that I should have been the first to go. So I'm gonna make another prediction. It's gonna be her and the mayor. It's gonna be Shion that disappears and the mayor that disappears, and I'm gonna forever hate myself for her disappearing because the last thing I said to her was me yelling, and then I'm gonna find out that Shion is the one demoning away people or something, or like I don't know. I'm trying to like be one step ahead of the game, and I don't know if I am or not. Onagafuchi, the bottomless swamp, said to have been the place where they drowned sacrifices long ago. Just as it ran through my thoughts, the villagers must have also considered the swamp. Maybe police drivers were plumbing its depths even now. They probably wouldn't find anyone. Not a single person missing had ever been found. They'd always suspected Onagafuchi, but not once have they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, it was a devilish bottomless swamp from which no one who sinks can ever return. I could hear someone telling their friend that in the classroom. Now that you mention it, Satoshi-san, he left around this time last year, didn't he? Satoshi? Heard that name before. He was... Right, he disappeared because of last year's curse. Conversation was happening in the seat next to me so I could hear it clearly. Didn't we search the whole village like this for Satoshi-san too? We didn't find him either. What did we decide that was? Demoning away, right? Yeah. I heard he withdrew all his savings and ran away from home. Someone from the police said there was someone who saw him get on the bullet train at Nagoya Station. Way, huh? I wasn't that interested in the reason, which seemed understandable in this case. Everyone else who disappeared had their own reasons too. Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a corpse that couldn't be found. It's not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason, but they disappeared. Someone disappeared whenever the curse took a life as if by design. They may have had various understandable reasons, but they still disappeared. From that point of view, it might have been a demoning away this time. The mayor's disappearance was the first such incident without a clear reason behind it. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help to resolve anything. Like I messed up the seasoning today. Sorry. Normally, Rena would have devoured her lunch immediately, but today there was still a ton left. That wasn't because Rena's lunch didn't taste good or anything, though. That isn't the case. Your lunch today is delicious as always. Satoko dips her chopsticks into Rena's bento box and pulls out bits of food one after the other. Yes, delicious indeed. Today in particular, in fact. You know those are pumpkin What the fuck is that word? You know those are pumpkin croquettes? That sounds right. Croquettes. Are you okay? Yes. It's your pumpkin, then it's delicious? Satoko disliked pumpkin? Regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted very good today. Satoko kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was. If it's that good, then I guess I gotta have some too. Satoko's going to eat it all if we let her. It's just so good, so I would certainly like it if Keiichi-san were to eat some as well. What? It's just so good, so I would certainly like it if Keiichi-san were to eat some as well. Well, sometimes I gotta show my adult generosity, right? Okay, don't hold back on my account. Eat enough for the both of us today. She really, really hated pumpkin, didn't she? That made it all the more touching to see Satoko's own brand of generosity. I grabbed her head and started stroking it. Okay. Toko, in a somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling, tears streaming down her face. No way. We'll never grow up if you give away such good food. Rena, you eat too. I only have leftover vegetable stew, but it tastes great after having sat overnight. Yeah, the daikon radish has such a pretty color going through it. It looks delicious. I guess I'll have some then. Rena reached out with her chopsticks, and at last, the usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desk, however. The dark tales of Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recurred for 5 years in a row now, didn't cease. The whole classroom remained stuck in this somber mood. Oyashiro-sama's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone wanted the previous year to be the last. What was Oyashiro-sama's curse anyway? They were going to build a dam in Hinamizawa. The people building it were bad. So they were cursed. I would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, wasn't it? So why was the curse stubbornly persisting? I hit myself on the cheeks to perk myself back up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood, I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story out of my head. Driving Oyashiro-sama's curse out of my thoughts was actually a good idea. In the end, that meant that I would also be driving away the most terrifying thought of all. I could be the next target. Except it's actually Shion. Shion's taking a while, isn't she? How long does it take to wash her hands? Shion said she was going to wash her hands and left, and she hadn't come back yet. She's probably taking a little afternoon nap somewhere. I think she was up pretty late last night looking for the mayor, after all. I smiled wryly and let out a sigh. Today was no good. However much we tried to lighten the mood, things always came back to the mayor. It was just a no-good day. I transferred here recently, so the shock of a curse happening 5 years running was an unimaginably big one. Maybe I do need to appreciate that. When Michan was really little, the mayor would always spoil her. When she was going through her prankster phase, he loved her like his own daughter. She's told me that often. See, Mian wasn't shocked too. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse was a very scary thing. If the sacrifice was someone you knew, though, then the shock must be 100 times worse. Satoko, as if she'd come to the same conclusion, bit on her lower lip and looked downward. Rika-chan is taking a while too. Maybe they're taking a nice afternoon nap together? Rika wasn't out that late. As soon as she yawned, everyone gathered around her and started saying, "Good night, good night." Now that she mentioned it, there were a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in fervent gratitude towards Rika-chan during the festival, too. An image of the indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika-chan discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that? Is there a reason for old people to treat Rika-chan like an idol? Is their ideal image of is she the ideal image of a granddaughter or something? I don't know anything about that, but I want to see Rika-chan yawning. It's probably all like fwa. Also, the voices have taken a absent leave, by the way. I want to take her home. I don't personally think it's that cute. It's more of a gwa, and she opens her mouth really wide so you can see the back of her throat. Her throat? The thing in her throat all wobbly? How? Ren is handy at times like these. I finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Oh, right. I'm on day duty, today, aren't I? I need to go water the flower garden. Garden is right outside the teacher's lounge, too, so they can immediately tell if you don't do it right. I think Satoko-chan is cute, not only Rika-chan. Uvula? Can't breathe. Ow. I got a glimpse, it was so cute. Chan's cute too. I'm going to take you home. Rena was squeezing her hands around Satoko's neck and was trying to get a look into her throat. What the? You know Rena is, I can't say it out loud, but she's a notorious... What would that censored word be? Pervert? It's the only word I can think of there. I don't know. Hearing Satoko make a weird noise like a chicken being strangled is kind of hilarious, and I couldn't help but laugh. At some point, the classroom had erupted into laughter too. Maybe Rena was doing it on purpose. Even if she wasn't, this nonsense was a welcome sight. Anyway, let's go over to the flowers while I still have time. Slowly and quietly, lest I destroy the room's newfound peace, I left the classroom. The watering can was hanging up outside the kitchen. The building had originally been an all-male forestry service building, so there was apparently nothing so thoughtful as a garden here before. When they decided to have a school share the space, they built one there as a modest gesture of appreciation. But, well, the flower bed, it was a little longer than you would expect. It went all around, went all over the place. It was so big, one would need to refill the watering can 5 or 6 times to get it all done. I was doing this together with a kid who was also, thankfully, on day duty today. She was in the lowest grade, though, and a full size smaller than even Rika-chan. I couldn't make a kid who would struggle just to lift the full watering can help me with this. For this, if one was placed on day duty with someone... Wait, for this, if one was placed on day duty with someone one liked, they'd do it for you, so it'd be cake. No point in blaming her. I give up. I'll just get started. Watering can in one hand, I just was about to leave the building. Just as I was about to leave the building, the old man from the forestry office addressed me. Sonny, there's a vegetable garden behind the warehouse, right? It's just about all dried up. Water that too, would you? Oh, you mean the curry vegetable garden? The one with the potatoes and the carrots and other things that are only ingredients for curry? It was definitely the personal garden of our curry-loving teacher, but making students responsible for its upkeep is getting them involved in her personal affairs. I couldn't say that to his face, though, so I gave up and decided to carry out my day duties. Sunlight out front was strong. Okay, so either I hear a conversation out here, or something happens. Because Rika and Michan are both out here, so. The great chorus of cicadas was strongly underlining how nothing was different today than yesterday. I passed by the classroom, and I don't know how it happened, but Rena and Satoko were in the middle of a huge melee. While I was gone, all the kids had arranged the desks in a circle formed a ring while everyone was cheering them on. Yeah, that's how it should be. Once school ended, we would need to return to reality, where the talk of the elder's disappearance would once again be all over the place. I wanted everyone to forget about everything and have fun just like yesterday, if only while they were at school. In that sense, Satoko's whirling elbow and Rena's backwards flying spin kick made for a pleasant sight, even if, as a result, they flipped over my desk. And that's my pencil box. I'll just let it happen today. I set to work, hastily watering everything, wanting to be nothing more than done as soon as possible. That should about do it. No sooner had I thought that than I remembered that I had to water the vegetables curry garden too. That's such a pain, but I have a feeling it'll come back to bite me if I don't. I gave up, filled the watering can again, and headed behind the warehouse. This was a place students didn't like to go. It was always damp here, and you couldn't discard the possibility of slugs and pill bugs being around. So when I ran across her in a place like that, I was surprised. Whoa. Oh, it's Rika-chan. Scare me like that. Rika-chan was just standing there like a puppet devoid of life. I was the only one who was startled here. Rika-chan didn't even seem to react to my presence. Rika-chan? Finally, she noticed me. Her expression was clearly abnormal. The red under her eyes, stained with tears and dirt. There were blades of grass stuck in her hair, too. Her clothes looked as though she'd fallen to the ground. Rika-chan, are you hurt? Did you fall? No, that isn't it. Rika-chan said in the brightest voice she could. Or she could manage as she rubbed her eyes. She didn't look anywhere normal, though. What happened? You weren't sleeping on the store roof and then fell off or anything, did you? Don't worry about me. I have something I want to ask you, Keiichi. Is it, were you with Takano and Tomitaki-san? Oh no, that's not good. Rika-chan walked over and clung to me. First I thought she was playing a trick on me. Eventually, however, I realized that it was so I wouldn't run from the question she was about to ask. I shuddered. What do you want from me? She looked straight into my eyes. Her upturned eyes bored right into me. It was as though she was trying to pull the answer out of my own eyes without actually asking me the question. It was scary, so I averted my eyes from hers. Keiichi. Where are the voices? Did you do something bad on the night of the festival? It was almost calming not having to read the things. Now that they're not here, it just feels like empty silence. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. So I don't know what to make of this scene yet, because the scene is just starting. But I guess we'll see. The idea that Shion is dead is very real in my mind right now. It would only make sense that the main character says something terrible to the person that was their only friend, and then they die. That would only make sense in a horror type setting, you know? So if they're trying to convey that type of, oh no, anybody that I talk bad to could disappear the next day, they will definitely kill Shion. Either that, or Shion becomes like bipolar, and she becomes like super angry, and like she's like the source of the mayor disappearing. Which I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I said that before, where like I think that the mayor's going to kind of be gone, and Shion's going to be gone, but then they're going to reveal that maybe it's Shion that took the mayor in the first place. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. It seems like Rika-chan is like in this. I feel like it's Rika, Mion, Rena. I don't know about Satoko because they've done a good job of putting suspicion on everybody else. But here's the weird thing about Satoko, and the only reason why I think she's still, I think everybody that in my friend group is a demon. That's my current standing, and I've yet to be proven wrong. So I'm gonna keep the standing. The thing that is weird is that Satoko seems the most unlike a demon, and the reason why is because she hasn't shown hints of being creepy yet. Rika has shown hints of being creepy. Mion has shown hints of being creepy, like hints, if not like red flags that she's creepy. Same thing with Rena. But Satoko has kind of been off to the only thing weird about her is that her brother, Satoshi, is gone, and she's just there. And she doesn't talk about it. It's not a thing that she talks about. I don't know. Satoko's been like a question mark for a little bit in my head. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then, I don't know. There's still a lot that I don't know. So I guess we'll see in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next episode. And peace out, you guys.